friends, welcome back to Three Barrow Farm. For those who are new here, my name is Amy and I live on 42 acres with my family of 5 in central Victoria, Australia. As you can probably tell by the sound of my voice, I have been unwell, but I'm on the mend now, and it is such a glorious day today that I decided to come out here and do a bit of weeding and harvesting because the garden has gotten away from us while we've all been a bit unwell. So I wanted to fill you in on a few things that have been happening here and that's happening in my garden right now. First up, I've been sowing seeds in my trays and potting up the seedlings that can't yet go out into my garden. And then I've been re-sowing those trays that I've been taking the seedlings out of. I have some more beetroots and calendula and fennels to go out into the garden now. But I've been potting up my tomatoes and some of the flower seedlings that can't yet go out because we're still receiving frosts at the moment. So they need to be kept inside until I can put some frost cloth over them out here, but pretty much close to when the last frosts will occur. It's now almost October. I can't believe how fast this year has flown by. It just seems so much faster than other years. And the sun is now disappearing out of our passive solar house. So the sun eventually gets too high that it doesn't come through. So our house is designed so that the sun comes in the wintertime, and then the sun doesn't come in the summertime, so that we can keep our house cool during summer. So this means that I'm taking my trays in and out of the house. I'm putting them on the front deck, on the little porch thing we've got there at the front of the house. And then in the evening, I'm bringing them back into the house so that they're not outside while it's really cold. Eventually, I'll be able to leave them outside all the time, but I'm doing this just until I have my seed raising house, and I've been doing it this way for many years now. All these leaves will go out to the chickens today. I've got a beautiful cabbage here. So because we've all been unwell, we haven't been able to get out and mow. So the last few days we've just been out here trying to get on top of everything. But it's going to take a while because the grass is just growing massively long and things have really taken off. I'm picking some sprouting broccoli here, which is doing really well still, but a lot of my plants have really had it. So I'm picking some of the last of my broccoli, and I have just sowed some more sprouting broccoli seeds. So there'll be a bit of a gap in having broccoli, but that's okay. We'll be having other vegetables in the meantime. And I have got a heap in the freezer as well. I've also dehydrated a whole heap and made a green powder from my broccoli. And I'm going to put that in soups and pasta sauces, omelettes, anything you can think of that you would add some green powder to, just to add a little bit more nutrients. I've got so many cauliflowers coming in, and I'm going to do some blanching and freezing of the cauliflowers, but I'm also going to make some cauliflower soup and freeze them in containers as well. I've had some pretty big cauliflowers coming out of my garden of recent times. One of them weighed 2.3 kilograms, so pretty big. There are loads of lettuces that we're harvesting from the garden right now as well, and we're eating them pretty much daily, if not every couple of days. The broad beans have also just taken off and there's so many more flowers. I haven't seen a huge amount of bees, but the bees are definitely floating around. They're enjoying some of the Asian greens that have gone to seed as well. And I'm hoping that they're getting to the broad beans, but I haven't been out here to check. So it'll be interesting to just pay attention to the broad bean flowers and see if they are being pollinated. If they're not, I'm just going to go in there myself and try and hand pollinate them. This kale here is all going to seed, so I'm going to be making some more green powders with these leaves, and I'm harvesting quite a bit of kale today. I have been drying some calendula flowers because the calendulas are now out and really looking beautiful. Their first flush, the flowers are always so big and lush. So I'm drying a few of those to make calendula balm eventually. But I will be putting in the greens today to make some more green powder. I'm also going to freeze some of this kale to use in future smoothies. I'm mulching as I go through the garden and plant out this spring. So I'm trying to keep the moisture in by getting the mulch onto the ground. I'm also noticing behind me some of the brassicas that I put in quite late into autumn. So at the end of autumn, they are going to seed now. So they didn't produce anything at all. And the ones that were further down the bed, well, some cockatoos came along and they just tore them apart. And there were some little heads of broccoli on them, and so that was a bit disappointing. So I've missed out on some more broccoli harvesting in this row, but basically I'm going through here, pulling things out and putting in the new things. I'm also needing to water quite often. I don't know if you can see, but I've got my irrigation on at the moment and watering the ground. Basically all the bare ground is looking quite dry, but the water is soaking up quite quickly. So underneath it must be nice and moist. However, with this wind that we've been having, the topsoil just dries out quite quickly. The parsley is going to seed here. You can see this bush is quite big and these little sprouts here that are coming up, this is where the flowers are going to come out and the seed's going to come from. So it'll also sprout out in all these little spots as well. So this will be covered in flowers if I leave it, but I'm wanting to leave some of it, not all of it. I want to harvest as much as I can. Now, I haven't had much success with dehydrating parsley in the fact that it does dehydrate, it's fine, but it doesn't taste like parsley after. Like it just doesn't have the flavor there as it does when it's fresh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whiz up the leaves with some oil, like blend it up together and put them in ice cube trays and freeze it and see how it goes there. And I probably won't use it fresh, so I won't defrost it and use it fresh, but instead put it into things that I'm cooking because I think it would go a bit sludgy. But I will get back to you on that and see how it goes and let you know. If you have any ideas on how to preserve parsley, let me know. I'm going to be using it in some salads and dishes as well. So we're going to be eating a lot of parsley as we have been through winter. We're definitely going to be adding it into a lot of our spring dishes. And of course, as I've mentioned previously, I have let my parsleys go to seed and the seed just spreads everywhere. Behind me, I have some seedlings coming up. So I will be having more parsley in my garden to harvest from eventually this growing season. I hardly ever raise parsley or coriander seedlings. I just let them go to seed and I have seedlings coming up all over my garden and I like it that way. All right, well, all this talking and running around doing the harvesting is tiring me out. So I just wanted to finish with a little bit of unfortunate news, but thankfully everyone's okay. So one of my dogs, one of our Jack Russells, Jackie, came into the house and was vomiting, and we went outside to check in the garden, and there was this tiny, like about that long snake that we found. It was about the thickness of my small finger, and it didn't have a head. So she'd evidently eaten the head off the snake, and we rushed her to the vets, and she spent 2 nights at the vets, but she is okay and she is back to her normal self now. But that was a real big scare, and just a reminder that snake season seems to be a little bit earlier for us here. But yeah, just a reminder that we are in this snake territory. We tend to get a lot of snakes around this area, and so the dogs, as you've noticed, they're not running around with me today while I chat to you because they need to be supervised at the moment. We haven't been able to get on top of all of the grass within our house area. The paddocks are pretty short, like we never really see any snakes in the paddocks, or maybe we've seen one in the last 11 years. It's just the house area where there's plants and grass that grows and the snakes can hide. And she found one, and thankfully she's okay. But now they're being supervised all the time when they're outside, which is a little bit hard. And she's actually having to stay quiet for a few days. So that's really difficult as well with Jack Russells. But I'm taking her for long walks, and they're a little bit annoyed that they can't come out here with me right now. They were out with me just before when I was doing a little bit of harvesting, but as soon as I wanted to turn the camera on, I knew I'd have to put them inside. So yeah, watch out. Make sure you watch those dogs of yours. I thought cats were going to be the ones that would catch and kill a lot of things, but it turns out that dogs are the ones that do that. So yeah, it's interesting. We've had these 2, I call them puppies, but they're not puppies anymore. They're 3 today, actually. It's their birthday today. They've been with us for almost 3 years, and it is a learning curve, but we do enjoy them very much, and I'm so grateful for Jackie to be home. We could just feel the difference so heavily not having her in our home and in our family, and Luna really pined for her. It was really hard to witness that. So I'm so grateful that she is home, and we are just going to keep them close to us and watch out for snakes. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that's the one snake thing for this summer, because that tends to be our thing, is we see one snake a summer. Well, it's not summer yet, but one snake every snake season. So that seems to be our thing, and we've seen it really early on this year. All right, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to get to preserving all of this, because that's going to take quite a bit of energy as well. And then I need to come out here and do some more harvesting, because there's so much to harvest and everything is just taking over. I hope you are all well and having a wonderful September. It's going to be October before we know it, and I'm really going to be out here as much as possible. It's been nice to have a bit of a break, especially because the weather was quite rainy and cold. But now that it's sunny, I want to be out here. So I want to get better and be out here in my garden, in my favourite place to be. So I will see you next time, friends. Take care.